Hello, so my name is Oksana. I have been teaching here at the Ternopil Economic State University for a couple of years, and I'm here to present you today this topic, which is called school. Okay, everybody, it's very important for everybody to go to school and to get some learning, so that's why I think that some pictures are very interesting here to draw attention to, because actually they represent the students who are at the class. For example, this picture tells you about that there are some students here who probably are in the room and they are doing some tests. So actually, it's a place, school is a place where you can really get some learning, you can really test yourself, you can, let us say, do some subjects and do some learning and pass your exams. Another picture represents some, let us say, schoolgirls and school guys, school children, who actually probably they are revising for their tests because they would like to get to know more things about their subjects. Probably they are preparing for some important things which they have to pass at school. Okay, probably they are really worrying, or probably some of them are smiling, but actually it's the school. I mean, it's a place where you can get some learning. Another picture represents a class with a teacher here, with a male teacher, and there are some desks and there are some students. Probably it's a class. I mean, the teacher explains to the students things they have to learn. They get to know something new, probably some practical class, let us say a very, very ordinary class where you come to the room, you see your students, you start talking to them, and the students actually may get some information from you as a teacher. Okay, another picture. As you can see here, it's a girl. She's writing something on the blackboard, okay? So probably she's doing some, let us say, or just some problem on the blackboard. Probably she's, she's testing herself. Or probably she's answering some questions of the teacher, but she's near the blackboard and she tries to, to solve something and to explain something to the other students and to the teacher. Okay, again, another thing, so she is in the class. Oh, okay, here we have two girls who are smiling. Probably they have done tests, very important tests. Probably they have already graduated from their school and they have done A grade. So that's why they're very happy, because they have done very important tests in their lives. And they're happy to be ready probably to apply for some important universities in the world. But they are happy because they have done the test. Okay, so here we have a class where the teacher tries to explain to the students probably new material, which is trying to test the way the students learn some material. And probably they are really doing some very important learning as they are very concentrated on their subject. And probably they are very, very eager to learn something new, because we have here a boy and the teacher smiling, and the boy tries to learn some things, or tries to understand what the teacher is explaining to the student. Okay, so as you see, all those pictures have something to do with school, with rooms, with classrooms, because it's the way the students can learn some new information. They can prepare for some important, let us say, things in their lives. And actually, for them, it's very important to learn something new. And school, university, college gives them this possibility to study. Okay, now we are going to talk about different types of schools. As you see, there are, let us say, different types or different institutions where the students can get some learning. So that's why I would like to draw your attention to your books and to page 39, where exercise number 16 actually explains to you all the types of schools, institutions, educational, let us say, educational learning, where the students can get their education in the United Kingdom. Okay, so if we take the first sentence and we have the definition of the first sentence, which tells you school where children aged 3 to 5 can go. Okay, you can say that. If you really look at the age 3 and 5, probably you can see this picture and you see the kids here, very small ones, who are preparing for something very important to learn. So that's why they start their education from the nursery school. So that's why you can see a picture, kids learning, and this school we call nursery 1. aged 3 to 5. Okay, another definition from our exercise tells us school for students aged over 11. Okay, if you really see the age, it's almost 11 years old. So in the United Kingdom, kids change their schools. That's why we can say that this school is a secondary school. So the secondary school, it's for the kids who are aged 11 years old. So they change the schools. They start from nursery and then they go to the secondary school. Okay, definition 3 from exercise 16 tells you school where parents do not need to pay for education. So you know that in the United Kingdom, okay, not all of the schools really are free. So some schools are where you are to pay for the studies. Okay, so we will talk about the school where the students don't have to pay any money, because it's the school for those kids and for the parents who do not have enough money to, let us say, to let their kids study at very fashionable schools. That's why they go to the state school. I mean, for everybody who can study freely without getting paid. Okay, definition 4 tells us students can be educated here when they are 16 till 18 years of age. Okay, so you can guess easily that this type of institution, of educational institution, is called college. So college, that is the place for the students who are aged 16 and 18. So they can really leave state school, they can leave the secondary school, and they can move to the college where they can get their further education. Okay, definition 5. School where parents have to pay for education. So in the United Kingdom, such schools are for those who probably can, let us say, they can afford for their kids to pay for the school. So that's why this school is called public school. Those are the kids of rich parents, parents really who have have enough money for their kids to be educated and to be paid accordingly. So that's why this school we call public school, but it's in the United Kingdom. Definition 6 tells us that schools where both boys and girls study together. So we can say that this educational institution is for both boys and girls. And this educational institution, everybody can guess easily, is called co-educational institution. As you can see, a boy and a girl here who stay in the same class, they share their experiences, and they can be both. Those are the schools for both sexes, for male and for female ones. Okay, number 7. The definition tells us that it's school for selected students over 11 years of age. So it's a very old and very ancient type, very old-fashioned type of education, which has been introduced in, let us say, in the United Kingdom a long time ago, and still it's very actual. It's called grammar school. I mean, grammar school where the students are selected according to their abilities, according to their mental, their intellectual abilities, and their preferences. So that's why this school is for those who are selected to be educated somewhere. Okay, let us look at definition number 8, which is the last type of institution. School for children over 11 of different abilities. Okay, so in this case, this institution is called comprehensive school. So if you compare grammar school and if you compare comprehensive school, we can say that grammar school is for those who are selected, who are chosen to be educated in this fashionable institution. But comprehensive schools are for kids who have lots of abilities, who have lots of preferences and interests, and they are really mixed, they are different. That's why they choose, and those institutions are given for those who prefer to attend the comprehensive school. Okay, so those are the different types of institutions, and we are through with them. So in this case, we can see how many different institutions kids can get education in. They go there, they get any type of education. They can be really let us say, can be chosen to be educated, or they can pay or no pay for their studies. They can choose any institution they want and get their education. So Okay, I think that it's high time for us to move to exercise 18, where we can study some new words, some new expressions, some new, even another type of school which is very popular in the United Kingdom. Okay, look at exercise number 18 and look at the first definition, which tells you, I don't think it's right that some students have to pay school, then you have a gap, and you are to fill this gap with a word I'm going to ask you in a few minutes, whereas others don't. Do you? Okay, so in this case we have the word to pay. It means that if you have something to pay, it means that you have to give some money for something. In this case, we think that if you look at the table of the words, the best word which can really help us to choose the right words is school fees. That's why we say that I have to pay school fees, whereas others don't. Do you? Okay, we can say that this definition, this word about payment, if you really go to grammar school, if you go to a public school and you have to pay money, this money the students call school fees. Okay, definition two. Well, in definition 2, we have a very popular process in many UK institutions. At our school, students are, so in number 2, you have to guess which word you are to fill in according to their abilities. I'd prefer everyone to be in the same class. So here, obviously, well, we are talking about some system of education, which is very selected one, or probably here the students, as in grammar school, are selected to do some work, to do some activity in the class. So this process we call streaming process. The streaming process of education, where the students are selected according to their abilities to do common activities in the class, and the teacher really feels freely, or just he knows what to ask the students because he knows which level of intellectual abilities he or she has and how they can easily or with difficulty react to different processes. That's why this process of education in the United Kingdom is called streaming. Okay, let us look at the definition 3. Well, it's another type of school, which I haven't mentioned here, but I would like you to look at it very carefully and try to choose another type of school, which is very convenient for parents. Because here, the definition says, when I went to, you have to fill in the gap, school, I really missed my family. I had never sent my child there. So, in this case, well, probably this student really is very nostalgic. He's very sad because he hasn't, actually he was torn from his family. He was not with his family. He was at the building together with teachers, with other, let us say, kids, and he really missed the class. Okay, so this school in the United Kingdom is called boarding school, where the students are actually torn from their families. They have to go to this school. They are provided with food, with education, but they do not have to return to their families. They stay in that school till the time when they are old enough to leave it and to join or to apply for another educational institution. So this school is boarding school. Okay. Definition 4 tells us about another important thing for the students who probably are not ready to enter any educational institution. And as definition 4 says, I think it's a very good alternative to going to university. Okay, if the students are not ready to study at the very high educational establishments, if not ready to learn something very important, they can really get some preparation. And this preparation in the United Kingdom is called apprenticeship. It means that the students, or future students, let us say, future students or future kids in the educational institution or college students, they try to have 1 year for preparation. Probably they go to some teachers, or probably to some, let us say, to some families. They can get some education there, but they do not attend any educational establishment. And we call this way of learning apprenticeship. Okay, definition 5 tells us about the institution which we have already studied today. We have already talked about this institution in the UK, which produces lots of politicians, prime ministers. I think it just makes the class system here much worse, that it's very divisive. Okay, so in this case, this educational institution is very, very important, because after finishing it, people can really become presidents or prime ministers. They can really occupy very important seats in the government. And we call this system of education public school, but public school only in the UK, because if we move to another country, which is America, their public schools have quite a different system. So public school, as you see here, it's paid institution. That's why very important people come out of it. Maybe politicians, or let us say any prime ministers or even president can really be educated at the public school, and then he can become really very important person. Okay, so as you see, we are through with educational institutions, and now I would like to draw attention to subjects which the students can learn during their staying at school. So, okay. If you look at the picture, so if you look at this picture, which is school, you can see here different subjects. So I would like you to guess. Every gap should be filled with the right subject which you study at school. Okay, so this subject, if you see here a frog and a microscope, probably everyone can really guess that this is the biology class, okay? You can really study the different organisms, different things, I mean, like animals or birds and their life in the nature. Different natural processes can be studied in biology class. If you look at picture number 2, you see different figures here, geometrical figures, okay? Different problems here. Well, you can guess that this subject is math or mathematics, class of mathematics. Picture 3, as you see here, picture 3 is filled with musical notes and with musical instruments. So if you attend this class, you call it music class, okay? While in 4th picture, you have the globe, you have, let us say, map of the world. If you attend this class, you say that this class is geography class, because you can learn different continents, different countries, their population, their location in the map. Okay, this class can really become very interesting for you. If you look at picture number 5, you see here a ball and you see here speakers. So in this case, for you, easily comes to mind that this class is PE, or physical education class, where you can run, jump, play different sport games, do some sports actually, and have some relaxation after very, very complicated subjects. Okay, picture 6 tells you, or just you can see in picture 6, we have different formulas here, different natural processes here. So everybody can say that this class is physics, the class on physics. So you can really learn lots of interesting things during that class. Number 7 tells you they have different equipment which where the students can draw, can let us say evolve their imagination. So that's why this class we call class of arts. Yes, where you can draw, where you can represent something on the paper. I mean, your imagination can really be developed in that class. Okay, picture 8. What does picture 8 tells you about? There is some old castle, and we have some very, very ancient equipment, I mean, of some warrior during the Middle Ages. So you can say that this class is history class. Okay, you can really learn about different periods of human development, of human beings, from the very beginning till present time, and different historical events which happened during that time. Picture 9 tells you, so we have here some substances here, we have some formulas. So you can say it's a chemistry class. Okay, I can learn some chemistry when I attend that class. Okay, picture 10, well, you have here a book, I have a cross here and a candle. So you can see it's a very sacred one. Probably it's very, very thing that tells you about some Bible thing or Bible class. So if I attend this class, It's called religion class. I can really attend this religion class because I can learn some very important statements from Bible. Okay, 11. Picture 11 tells you, well, you have here the computer, you have here World Wide Web, 3 W's. So you can say that this picture actually has something to do with information technologies or IT technologies, which is a very important class nowadays because students really are very eager to learn things with the computer. And this class is very useful for those students who would like to become future IT specialists. Okay, look at picture 12. Here we have different ways of saying hello in English, in Spanish, in French, in Italian, okay, in Arabic. So that's why this class we call foreign languages class. Okay, so here, due to this paper, you can really see how many different subjects, and so we can really get so many interesting things by attending those classes. So I think every class and the teacher will tell you very important and very exciting things about different subjects at school. Okay, but if you come to school, you should learn some vocabulary about who meets you during the class, because when you enter the room, you have desks, you have students, you have chairs, you have teacher. So that's why when we study school, we should know the staff. And the staff, that means people, or probably all the administration, very important people who actually give you some education and who control the process of studying and who organize different things. So that's why we should learn some vocabulary. And I invite everybody right now to turn over your page and look at page 37. It tells you about different matching activity. It's school life, okay? School life. So that's why there are five people here who actually help you to organize the education. And your task will be to choose the definition and then to match it to A, B, C, or D according to the definition, people at school. So let us look together. Let us do that exercise together. So if you look at this exercise, if you look at the first definition, so it reads, this person looks after the school and the school grounds. So who do you think this person can really be? If he really takes care after school, if he really cleans the school. And here this picture shows you that this person at school is called caretaker. Caretaker who actually cleans the school and who keeps the keys, who actually keeps the place safe. And we call this person the caretaker. Okay? So look at another definition. This person is the most important person at school. You know, who that person really is, who is the most important person at school. So we can say that this person is the head teacher, because actually he organizes different things. He controls the process of studying. And we call this teacher, this person, the head teacher of school. He is, like I say, the most important person who can be at school, who has his private office, where he or she does the most important things in teaching, in conducting education, and in making his school probably the most popular around all the other schools in the town or in the country. So that's why this person is the head teacher, who really is the most important person at school. Okay, so look at another definition, which is the person is in the same class as you. So who do you think this person really is? If you look at those two kids, well, it's a boy and a girl. Okay, how do we call those people, those kids in the class? Okay, you can really say that they are classmates. Okay, they are of the same age, they are in the same room, they study the same subjects, they do the same things together. So that's why those two kids are classmates. Okay, classmates. Well, who makes our classes really, really interesting and exciting? Okay, look at another definition. These are the people who work at a school or at the company. Okay, our subject is school, and in this case, we should think about different people in the same room, and those different people are called the teaching staff. I mean, all those teachers on physics, on English, I mean, mathematics, biology class, all of them really make our classes very interesting and exciting. So their job is very important at school because really they are staff teachers who are in the same room and who make our classes very interesting and very important ones. Okay, so look at another thing. The last definition tells you a teacher who looks after a particular class and helps them with any problems. You know, I have a class, there are 30 kids in the class, or even 40 kids in the class. So we should really think about a person who can really organize our class, who can really make help us in our day-to-day activities during the class. And this person is called head tutor or a form tutor, okay, who really conducts, organizes education in one class and probably helps kids to get adapted to different school system and may even teach you some subjects. So that is the head teacher, or let us say the form tutor in other words. Okay, so here is the teaching staff. Here is the teaching staff, you know, in our school who really make our classes very, very interesting. So right now, I would like you to learn some new vocabulary, okay? Learn some new vocabulary, which has to do something with the school. Okay, if you look at this picture, so you can see probably let us say teenager here who actually is jumping, okay? He's skipping, and actually this is not simply that he does it. It's not the physical training class. He does it because in English we have an expression to skip the class, which means when you do not come to class, you do not want to attend the class. That's why those kids are called truants. They play truants or they skip the lesson. So they are never present. They do not want to attend the class, probably because the class is boring or probably because they haven't learned something. That's why they skip the class. Okay, so I'd like you to remember this picture and to understand it. Okay, let us look at another expression. So here we have some writing here and we have here an eye. Okay, if you look at this picture, you can easily see that it has something to do with struggle to understand. If you have very big text, for example, you have very, let us say, complicated subject, and you really are interested in it and you want to learn it. So you say, I'm struggling to understand it. Okay, that you make a great effort to do or to achieve something. You really study a lot and you try to learn this information. That's why this is the expression struggling to understand. It's a very positive thing because you are interested and you would like to learn something new. Okay, if you look at another picture, so, okay, picture that tells you memorizing something. Okay, how we can memorize? What are the other ways to say the word to memorize something, to keep it in your memory? So this expression is called commit information to memory. So if you commit information to memory, it means that you learn something that you can remember that. It means committing, I commit information to my memory. So I try to memorize it. So it's the way you learn, you study new information, and you commit information to your memory. Okay, instead of saying memorize, you can say, I commit information to my memory. Okay, another thing is, one more expression. So here you have the word to scrape through, let us say a phrasal verb, to scrape through something. Okay, some teachers say it means to manage or survive with difficulty, to be barely successful. Okay, if you scrape to some subject, here on the picture you see a clock with probably it's very late time and the girl has lots of books, so she's trying to learn something, probably getting to know let us say some new information, okay, that is, and she tries to learn something. So it's they say it's very negative because you're scraping through it, you're trying to understand it, but still you can't do it correctly because it takes you too much time, it takes you too much effort to do something, but you try to learn it. So they say scraping through should never be introduced at school because it's very, very tiring for students, okay? So let us see. Another thing is, so we have here an expression means pay attention. So if you use this word pay attention in schooling, you can say that you should listen very carefully to something, or that you must be a very good listener. Because it's very vital for you, it's very important for you to learn it, okay? Your eyes and ears should be opened to get to know some education. That should really be, you should be very, very careful in doing something. So that's why pay attention. You can say all the time, listen, 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 and those people do. If you're in the class, you should pay attention to everything the teacher tells you to do. You should be very, very attentive during the class. You should never miss a single thing the teacher tells you. That's why pay attention to all the things the teacher tells you during the class. It's listening, okay? And the final, let us say, the final thing here is we have different figures. Okay, we start from 40, from 49, we end to 566. It means something is increasing. One company has earned $40,000. Another company has earned $497,000. The third company has earned $566,000. So how can we describe this process in the economy? We can say that we outperform it. It means that achieving better results than somebody or something do well in a particular job activity compared to others. So if we outperform somebody, it means that we really make the things better for us, and we really do things much better than other people do. Even in the class, if you are better than other persons, so in this case you outperform this person because you're smarter, because you're much more intelligent. Okay, so this is this. Those are the new words, okay? So I think that you have learned something from doing those exercises, and I hope that you will use those words in your learning. Okay, now I propose some listening to you. Okay? So now I'm going to switch on my mobile phone, and we are going to listen to 6 different extracts from teachers and from school leavers and students who make some short speeches about something. So in this case, I proposed for you to listen very carefully because you need to choose A, B, C, or D option. So let me play it. Okay?
Are you tired of learning English words and expressions by heart? Do you find English grammar impossible to learn? Are English essays your worst nightmare? Does it all stress you out? If so, you'll enjoy our new webpage, which is full of entertaining and interactive exercises designed especially for students revising for their school-leaving test. Check it out now and tell us what you think. We already hear that it's as useful as our ideas last year for practicing communication in English.
Okay, so I have stopped with the first extract. So you have heard, probably, let us say, like a publicity, like an advertisement of some school. Usually nowadays, when you leave school, you need to apply for some educational learning. So that's why you need to apply for some courses where you can upgrade your education, yes? So we have 3 different options. Your task is to choose the one which underlines the main idea of this extract. So look at the first definition. Enjoy writing composition in English, want to practice their speaking skills, are preparing for their final exam. So what do you think will be the right option? Actually, what this publicity, this advertisement is common to, is for whom is it addressed? So I think you can guess that this is called C option, preparing for final exams. The students are preparing for final exams, so they are listening to this publicity of the school that prepares them to, let us say, to get ready for their final exams. Listen to the...
Tom, congratulations on your exams. Thanks a lot.
How do you manage that year after year? You must study every day or learn a lot of things by heart.
Just the opposite. I want to understand what I'm supposed to learn, so I just make notes, read them, and reread them until I feel I know everything I need to know. I also have a good memory, which helps.
Lucky you.
Okay, so I have finished with the second extract. So in this case, we have another guy whose name is Tom. Probably he's an A-grade student because, as you have heard, he says, it's very easy for me to remember the things, so it's very easy for me to learn information. Probably he has a very good memory and he memorizes the things. Okay, if you look at those three options, which one you think is really something that can suit to describe the main idea of this extract? He analyzes what he's studying. Okay, I think it has not been mentioned in the extract. He learns everything by heart almost every day. So in this case, probably he doesn't say so much in details about how he gets information. But to our mind, the best option here is it's easy for him to remember things because he says he has a very good memory in memorizing things. So that's why it helps him a lot to get to know new things by using his memory. Okay, let us listen to extract 3.
I think it'd be a good idea to study from home in front of your computer. Just imagine not having to get up every morning.
I'm not sure. I prefer it when I can see the teachers face to face. Like now when we're getting ready for our final exams. The teachers motivate me to make more effort, and revising with the rest of the class helps me a lot.
Well, maybe, but I hope that there will be more online learning next year. I've heard that universities and colleges do more of it.
We'll see. We must pass the entrance exams first anyway.
Okay, so here, this extract invites you to understand who is the speaker. Actually, is she a student, is she a kid, is she the is she the student of the second year or the first year? So if you look at this, A, university student, do you think that she's so anxious to become to say so much different things about being a university student? I mean, actually, A, I think it's not very good to answer. If you look at B definition, first year secondary school students. So, well, what about this? Actually, we do not agree with this. I think option C is right, because the students in the final grade of secondary school, because they're worrying so much about passing their final exams. That's why they would like to pass the exam successfully and try to get to choose the proper university to prolong their education. Okay, so let us now listen to the fourth extract. Be very, very careful in listening.
I've been a teacher for about 20 years, and I know how difficult it is to engage learners, so I'm a fan of all the new ideas that could help me motivate my students. There's a trend in modern education called gamification. All the learning happens through problem-solving games in which students score and collect points. It sounded brilliant, so, like many other teachers, I decided to try it. And guess what? It was fun for a few weeks, before my students got bored again. I know now that even games can demotivate teenage learners.
Okay, so, here, have you heard the voice of the student or the secondary student? Or have you heard the voice of the teacher? So I think, and everybody here in this room thinks, that it's the teacher speaking here, and she's talking about her experience at school. Actually, there are 3 ways you are to choose the right one about the process of education. She has called the gamification. So she thought that this is was very popular game and activity during the class, just to, let us say, play with the students during the class. But was she really satisfied with this gamification? Was it really applicable in her class? Were the students really excited to play games during the class? Were they quick learners or not? Okay, your choice is B, I think, because she says they become unattractive to students because after having done the classes with the games, in a few days, the students has really become bored with this gamification and they wanted to do something else. That's why the teacher says it's not a very attractive way of learning, because the students get tired and get bored of the same class, of the same activity in the class. Okay, and listen to extract number 5.
My study room is in the attic, but it's got quite big windows, so it's pretty light and airy there. The room itself may not be very spacious, but it's really cozy. My mum says that it's too cluttered and keeps telling me to get rid of things, but I quite like it the way it is. It isn't untidy, just full of things I couldn't study without. It makes me feel like a real scientist.
Okay, so I think it's the last extract we have listened. And here, so which voice or voice of whom have you heard in that extract? I think it's a voice of a girl, you say, yes? It's a voice of a girl who has been talking about the room where she can study, preparing for her classes. And so, does she say that this room is very, very big? Or does she say it's very pleasant? Or does she say it's very messy? What is the main adjective she talks about here, okay? Everybody agrees that this option is pleasant. She likes to stay in her studio where she is a bit far away from her family, and she can really be isolated from everybody and learn and prepare for her classes by herself. So she said that this room is very pleasant. Okay, so, and as you see, we have one more very interesting activity here. So we should like to talk about the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense, because some grammar is very, very necessary for you to learn when you study something new. So that's why I would like you to get divided into 2 different teams, okay? So, because we're going to do some gaming here, okay? Some gamification. So, but before explaining to you, before actually doing this game, I would like you to look at this table. You see, here we have the ways the present perfect tense is used, okay? We have the finished actions, okay, when action finished some time ago, but still we talk about it in the present. Another thing, recent completed action. So the action finished recently and we still talk about it, okay? In number 2, we have unfinished actions. So actually some actions which we talked about them, they are still actual and we still continue to talk about them in the future. Okay, picture 4 or just usage 4 tells you life experiences. So in this case, it's often used in the questions, and the most important word you can hear is ever. If you see this word ever, it means that actually it talks about your experience. Have you ever been somewhere? Have you ever visited a country? Okay? Another thing is accomplishment. So in this case, it means that some activities, very important contribution people have done to the humanity. And here we talked about a person who has walked on the moon. So it's his accomplishment, okay? And final thing is changes over time. So if things really have passed already, but they continue to change, you are to use the present perfect tense form, okay? If we, let us say, if you look at this picture, you can see the formation of the present perfect tense, because there is a formula which you are to remember. It's the verb to have and has with the past participle, okay? There are 3 ways you can form a tense. Positive, I have finished, or she has gone. Negative, I have not finished, he has not gone. And the questions, have you finished? Has he gone? Where have you been? Okay, so you see how the 3 different types of sentences are formed with the help of the present perfect tense. Okay, I would like now to look at this sheet of paper. All of you have those sheets of paper. We have here 2 different teams, Team A and Team B. And your task is to form the present perfect with each, let us say, piece of the verb. Okay, probably you will need some to revise some irregular verbs. So in this case, I invite everybody to do this. Okay, so if you look at the Team A, you can see the verb go. Okay, what is the third form? What is the past participle of the verb to go? Everybody will say gone. Okay, if you look at the first, fly. Yes, what is the third form of the verb fly? It's flown. If you look at the word drink, the third form is drunk. If you look at win, the third form is won, okay? If you look at the word read, the third form is read. If you look at the give, the third form is given. If you look at make, made, buy, bought, take, taken, see, seen, break, broken, sleep, slept, learn, learned, have, had, swim, swam, touch, touched, sing, sung, ride, ridden, meet, met, watch, watched. Okay, so in this case we have revised the way the present perfect tense is formed. I think everybody here in the class has learned today new words. So, like the final item for everybody here, so I invite everybody to fill in the gaps with the words you have learned today. So please take those sheets of paper and be ready to write down new words. Okay, after that we'll check. Thank you for your attention and hope you have enjoyed the class. So, and you have learned new words, you have learned the present perfect tense form. Hope to see you next class in my presence. Bye-bye.